and scanning, in regards to those skills, you must use those, and in particular with reading part A. Okay, it's very, very, very important. Skimming and scanning will really help you when it comes to overcoming those time constraints that you'll all be facing. And another thing to point out is that the OET team in Australia, okay, you might have watched Rebecca's Facebook question and answer sessions, which are really, really good, and I highly recommend them. If you look at, I think one in particular that I watched of hers, and she was talking about the fact that as an expert, as an OET expert, I think she's been teaching for years and years and years. You know, on a good day, she'll be able to answer all the questions, you know, 25 to 35 gap fills for part A. But on a bad day, maybe she was tired, maybe she wasn't in a good mood, or this could be for any OET expert out there, OET teacher. They might struggle to actually complete all of the gap fills. So this is really something to put into consideration for you as a non-native English-speaking nurse or doctor, that even a professional, even a native English-speaking OET teacher finds this part of the OET exam difficult. Okay, it's just the time constraints. Of course, if you had 45 minutes, you would find your percentages a lot higher than what the general average percentage that a student gets when they take part A. Of course, because you have more time, to look through the text, to understand the meaning, to find the two, maybe 1, 2, or 3 words that you need to include as part of the gap fills. Remember, there's always a maximum of 3 gaps that you have to put in there. You have to be, it has to match for grammar and meaning, so that is important. Spelling is important for reading part A too. All of those things. But I just want to make you aware. I want to kind of put the message out there to communicate to you that it's not the end of the world. You don't need to start pulling your hair out if you're not able to complete all 25 to 35 gap fills. Remember, it's only 1/3 of your marks. Okay, so it's really important, and I want to kind of talk about the fact that yes, the time management aspect is important. However, if you're not very accurate and you're just kind of whizzing through it really, really quickly, you're going back and forth between the texts. Remember, you'll get usually 4 to 5 different texts. It could be an FAQ, it could be statistics, it could be a research text, and that will generally be a paragraph for each one. If you're just kind of, as we say, whizzing through, you're going back and forth between the reading text and the gaps, back and forth, and there's no accuracy in what you're doing. You're not being methodical in your approach, and you're just thinking, okay, that might be the right answer, I'll just put that in, and then quickly going on to the next one. Then your chances of success, of course, are a lot lower. Of course, if you only had a couple of minutes left, and you've got 6 or 7 gap fills, then of course, if you're not 100% sure, then it's better to put an answer in there than just not put in anything at all. Okay, to actually have an attempt at it, is important. So really, really important, accuracy. Okay, really, really important. So you've got to have a kind of marry the two. You want to be marrying the speed aspect, the time management aspect of having the 15 minutes allotted time with accuracy as well. So really, as well, another tip that I see students, another mistake really that I'm seeing students make is at the end, they're not actually reading through the whole summary paragraph that they've actually put in. So they put their 1, 2, or 3 words in the gap fills, and when they read the summary paragraph, that their answer box basically from beginning to end, they're not doing that. They're just filling in the gaps. They're not leaving a couple of minutes at the end, even a minute or so, just to kind of very, very quickly read through and ask yourself one question. Ask yourself, does this make sense? Okay, does this make sense? Because it has to make sense for meaning purposes, for grammar, or pretend basically that it's a text that you've got from a journal, a medical journal. So whether it's, and I highly recommend these, the Australian Medical Journal, the BMJ, the British Medical Journal. You could go on ABC Newsletter. You could go on the BBC's website, BBC Health. I think maybe the Guardian Health or the Telegraph health section. All of these have got fantastic texts on medical related subjects. Make sure you practice with them. Okay, make sure you practice with them and look through. They also have summary paragraphs in there, and really get used to going through them, and don't just focus on the practice papers, you know, that you find on the OET website, or, you know, different documents, different texts, different past papers that people are sharing, downloading and sharing back and forth. Also, really look at those medical texts outside of the OET, okay, because they can really, really enhance your reading skills. Really, really important to do that. But yes, at the end, make sure that you read the summary paragraph from beginning to end to make sure that there's accuracy in what you're doing. So speed and accuracy, have a combination of the two over those 15 minutes to make sure that you give yourself the best chance possible to get that